evening, my family and friends. Hope you're all doing well this evening. And I'll tell you, we're going to watch this together. I didn't make it real long. There's plenty of information out there you can go get on your own, but I think this gives you the gist of it. You may have heard that the illustrious Joe Biden has given Ukraine the go-ahead to use our long-range missiles on Russia. And I'll tell you, I'm just sick over it. I can't get over how they just keep escalating this war. We literally are in World War III, whether you realize that or not. Just because the bombs aren't dropping on our neighborhoods doesn't mean that it's not happening. It's all over the world. You've got China involved now. You've got North Korea involved now. I mean, this is getting really bad. Putin has changed their doctrine to their nuclear missiles. They consider our use of these weapons, are allowing Ukraine to use these weapons, our assistance with that. That makes us in direct conflict with them. That means that they could strike us with a nuclear missile. And I'll tell you, a lot of people say to me, well, you don't have to worry about that because of mutually assured destruction. He would never do that. Well, let me tell you something. That's bullshit. And here's why. Because, again, Biden, in his brilliance, not only, is pushing for Ukraine to win against Russia, which, by the way, is virtually impossible, so the whole thing's insane, but he's clearly stated over the past several months that he wants Putin gone, removed, that he's not satisfied with an end to this war without Putin being removed. That gives Putin no exit strategy. Putin has to win at any cost. You put this man in a corner, what is he capable of? I don't know. I don't know him. I've never sat with him. I don't know anything about him. I know enough about him. I know he's KGB. I know he's a hell of a powerful force. I know he seems to be able to be reasonable, and at the same time, he can be a complete maniac. So, which many world leaders can, right? So, what does he do if he's backed in the corner? And I'm not comparing the two necessarily, but let me ask you, what would Adolf Hitler have done when he was in the bunker and he knew it was all over? Would he have launched enough nuclear weapons to blow the entire world up, to destroy everything, to crack it right in half, to end civilization, to end humanity? Yeah, he would have. I believe he would have. So would Putin? Well, he might. And you know what? The word might, when it comes to something like this, is unacceptable. You do not push that. You look for a diplomatic solution and you end this, which is what Trump has called for. He said he would do it in the first 24 hours. Will he really get it done in 24 hours? I don't know, but I understand the sentiment, and I do believe he can get it done. I believe he can end this crap without any further loss of life. Do you realize, and this Lazinski, whatever the hell his name is, I don't care if I'm pronouncing it right, I don't give a shit less about the guy, okay? He's getting richer and richer and richer while his people are being blown to shreds. Blown to shreds, men, women, and children. Little children like your children, 4 or 5-year-old children. Is that acceptable? Are Russians' children's lives not as valuable as our children's? Are Ukrainians' children's lives not as valuable as our children? This is disgusting. And it's all about money. You'll hear that throughout here. It's all about money. It's always about money. I don't know what they're going to do with their money when the whole world is at burning ash, but they're lunatics. Potentially just complete Satan worshipers. They're horrifying, these people. We cannot have people like this in power ever again. I can only hope that we can make it till Trump's in and Trump can settle this. I'm sure Trump's on the phone now trying to calm things a little bit. I don't know at what point this thing, it could happen tonight. It could happen tonight. The whole world could be on fire. That's how bad this is. This is just awful. And John Bolton loves it, by the way. So that should tell you something right there. That should really tell you something. Because, if Bolton loves it, you shouldn't. And also, I always Putin invaded. Well, Putin did invade. All right. But why did he invade? And listen, I'm not sticking up for Putin. That's not my position to do that. I don't know Putin. I don't owe Putin a damn thing. But I also understand things because I'm logical. The Cuban Missile Crisis, when Russia tried to put their missiles too close to us, we were ready to go to full all-out war to prevent that. And for good reason. Excuse me. We wouldn't allow them to put their military on our borders in Mexico or in Canada. Of course we wouldn't. And neither will he. He said, that it was a red line for us to move NATO into Ukraine, right on his border. And for good reason, he could not allow that. And what did this administration do? They tried to push NATO in there on him, knowing full well that this would be the result. There was no other result that could happen. When they did it, I knew, oh my God, here we go. So at any rate, all right, well, look, I'm going to let it roll. And I may interrupt here or there very briefly, but guys, we can't allow this. And I don't know that you as an individual can do a whole hell of a lot to prevent it, or me, maybe together we can. But at least bring awareness about this. If we get through this, we could just no longer have these warmongers in any positions of power. These people are horrible. These people are the most evil of all evil. It is disgusting. It is just, I can't even put it into words. But let's let this roll. The audio is not terrific that I'm picking up off of Fox here for whatever reason, but you can hear it. You'll understand it. I apologize for that, but there's not a hell of a lot I can do about it. All right, let's roll, guys.
Now, for more is retired U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis. Colonel McGinnis, thank you for joining us. And so, how does allowing Ukraine to strike Russia with U.S. supplied weapons change the Ukraine-Russia war?
Well, Arthel is probably going to enrage Putin, which, of course, is problematic.
I'd say so.
The intelligence community, according to the New York Times, recently said that Ukraine is losing the war. Now, we know that Zelensky, as you just reported, has come to the United States weeks ago with a victory plan. And allegedly, when he met with President Biden, he made it very clear that using ATACMS and other long-range missiles, such as what the French and the UK just released, will be helpful. Now, unfortunately, it's a possibility that this could likely broaden the war.
Of course it will.
The Chinese are allegedly providing lethal aid now to Russia. The Iranians have, and of course, as you just reported, the North Koreans have sent upward to 10,000 troops to Russia.
So just real quick, just to, you heard it, you know it, you're intelligent people, I know that, but I never shut up. So you got Ukraine, you got Russia, now you got China, now you got Iran, now you got North Korea. We know how stable North Korea is. We don't have to worry about them launching a nuclear weapon or anything, do we? So now we'll be killing Chinese and Iranians and North Koreans and Russians. And that's world war, right? Everybody's getting involved. Everybody's involved. That means world war. It's that simple. That's the definition of it.
Allegedly that are going to be in the eastern provinces helping in the fight against Kursk. So you have a host of issues here. Allowing them to use HIMARS ATACMS that can reach 188 miles inside of Russia could be incredibly problematic.
Well, also, here's another question. Is there enough time for Ukraine to take advantage of these long-range missiles in the next 64 days, enough to put Russia and the North Koreans on their heels?
Unlikely. ATACMS are not going to make a major difference, quite frankly. What it will do is put Mr. Trump, as he assumes the presidency, in a much worse situation because the Russians, like I said, have been enraged. And so you have a...
And what did Trump say? Trump, the guy they're always just beating on and beating on. Okay, no matter what your thoughts are on Donald Trump, I like Donald Trump very much. I support, big supporter, okay? But listen, forget all that. I don't care who said it. If Biden had said it, I would have supported it. If Harris had said it, I would have supported it, all right? I would always support these words. I want people to stop dying. That's what he said about this war. I want people to stop dying. I think that's the right attitude. That's the attitude I want to hear from our world leaders.
A series of things that have happened, Arthel. Mr. Biden, in fact, thought that, the war in Ukraine was going to bolster our industrial base. It didn't. And he also was hoping that it would degrade the Russian.
Bolster our industrial base. Money. They're talking about money. Money for children. Men, women, innocent children being blown to shreds, lit on fire. All comes back to money. Always. There's no amount of money in the world, no amount of power in the universe that I would trade for these innocent people's lives, because that makes you a fucking monster, an absolute monster, Satan-level evil.
Military. Unfortunately, what Vladimir Putin has done is upgrade his industrial base to produce more munitions, and he is, just increasing his selective service to bring more people into the ranks, to include, of course, North Koreans. So you have the makings of a much broader war. So we need to be incredibly careful here about allowing Zelensky's so-called victory plan to go forward in a way that could just rob us all of our future freedoms.
План посилення України – це план перемоги, який я представив партнерам. Одним з головних пунктів є далекобійність для нашої армії. Сьогодні багато в медіа говорять про те, що ми отримали дозвіл на відповідні дії. Але удари завдають.
I've got to interrupt. All I've been hearing from the liberals is that Trump is a dictator, is that Trump is literally the reincarnation of Adolf Hitler. Look at this guy. Look at that face. Listen to the way he speaks. Pay attention to his words. This looks a whole lot more like Adolf Hitler to me than the guy that's out there dancing and doing all this crap, all right? And the guy that said, I'm sorry, I have a sore throat. The guy that said, I want people to stop dying. Does that sound like something Hitler said? I don't believe Hitler ever said that. But I believe Hitler spoke just like this guy. And you know, when you ran around, some of you, most of you didn't, you're not idiots. The people that ran around with their little Ukraine pins and all that bullshit, you know what they were voting for? They were voting for this. They were voting for it with those little things. They were giving that authority to Congress to send all of our money and weapons over there so that they could blow each other up, so that Russian children could be lit on fire, so that Ukrainian children could be lit on fire. I don't want $1 of my tax money going to murder children. They're the same as our children. Most people in both Ukraine, Russia, wherever you go, actually, for the most part, are considerably like us. They go to work every day. They try to feed their children. They argue with their husband or wife every once in a while. Then they try to make up, and then they try to push through the next day and make it again and love their family and do the right thing. And they don't want wars either. It's only this small handful of people at the top, all right, that benefit from these things, and they don't care about anyone's life. They are the oh my God, I can't even put it in words. I get so flustered. I'm telling you, they are absolute Satan worshipers. And I don't care whether you're religious or not, use it in any context you want, but they worship evil. They worship, they don't care. I believe they would light the whole world on fire, which of course doesn't benefit them in the end either, just to do it. It's the sickest thing I've ever seen. But look at this guy. Tell me he could have ended this. This could have been ended. As a matter of fact, there was a deal on the table between him and Putin. We could have resolved this. And guess what? The Biden administration squashed it. Did you know that one?
Не словами. Такі речі не анонсують. Ракети самі за себе скажуть. Обов'язково. Слава Україні!
New this morning, President of Russia, Vladimir Putin, has signed into law changes to the country's nuclear doctrine. Moscow will now consider a conventional attack on Russia by any nation that is supported by a nuclear power a joint attack. This move comes after President Biden gave Ukraine the green light, you may remember, to strike targets inside Russia using American-supplied long-range weapons.
Look at this shit.
Идет не о том, чтобы разрешать украинскому режиму наносить удары по России этим оружием или не разрешать. Речь идет о том, чтобы принять решение о том, что страны НАТО напрямую участвуют в военном конфликте или нет. Если это решение будет принято, это будет означать не что иное, как прямое участие стран НАТО, Соединенных Штатов, европейских стран в войне на Украине. Это их прямое участие. И это уже, конечно, существенным образом меняет саму суть, саму природу конфликта. Это будет означать, что страны НАТО, США, европейские страны воюют с Россией.
Well, that's that for now, guys. And look, I'm not the prophet of doom. I'm not. I don't want to be. I just want to bring this to your attention. And I have faith. I believe that Trump is in communication to these people. I have reason to believe that. There's all kinds of stories out there. There's things going on behind the scenes. Maybe he can keep somewhat of a lid on this for the next 63, 64 days. I don't know for sure. I sure hope so. If Biden and NATO keeps pushing for it, then I don't know how he can. But hopefully he can. Hopefully that's the light at the end of the tunnel. But listen, I mean it so sincerely. Do not put people like this in office ever again. It's one thing to say we will defend our country with everything we have. I agree with that. If someone unprovokedly comes at us, we'll do whatever the hell we have to do, okay? But I want people in office that have the strength to do what I just said, but prefer diplomacy, prefer not to blow up innocent men, women, and children. That should be a last resort. That should always be a last resort. I would hope that everyone would agree with me on that. I don't know. I don't care whether you're on the left, you're on the right. How can we not agree on that? Well, guys, that's that. I love you. I thank you. Have a great evening. And Twisted is out.